Hey, boo, hey, happy Wednesday or whatever you're listening to this on. Okay, let's create your 30-day plan to consistently sign clients for the rest of 2025 and honestly beyond with a very simple sales system. Okay, if you have been copying, which listen, I've been there, right? If you've been copying like big coaches, people that build like these exhaustive funnels and people that launch every quarter or every month, girl, I don't know how they be doing that. But if you've been doing all those things, but you're still noticing that nothing's working, maybe you're still hitting like sales slumps. And when I say sales slump, I mean maybe you haven't had a sale in the last 3 to 6 months or something to that effect, then this episode is for you, okay? Because today we're gonna walk through what I like to call the bare minimum sales system. So this is what I use to help moms just like you, just like me, honestly. I use this every single day to sign clients month after month without having to launch, without having to be online 24/7 and all the things. And honestly, this can be done in 5 hours a week, but I like to recommend that you at least give it 10 hours a week just to give yourself plenty of time to get things done. Because listen, we have kids, okay? We have kids. So if you know, you know. So because of that, I like to say give yourself a little bit more time, but this can be done in 5 hours or less per week. Well, I won't say or less, but it can be done in 5 hours a week for sure. So the first thing that I want to validate, or the first thing that I want to do, is I want to validate where you are, right? And how you might be feeling, okay? Most of the sales systems out there that people teach, like the sales strategies people teach, are built for people who have 20 hours, 40 hours, 60 hours, 80 hours a week to work. But that's not you, right? That's most likely not you. It's definitely not me. And I have 2 different companies. It's not me to be able to have even 20 hours some weeks to actually sit down and work. And I have a service-based business and I have a coaching business. And it's impossible. Like, I just don't have that much time. And so I think that sometimes we look at other people's funnels. Like, I love Alex Hormozy and Gary Vee. Like, I love everything that they do, but even they have admitted publicly multiple times, like, it's not just one time. They mention over and over and over again how they're not doing everything. So unless you have a team, or unless you have the time to invest 20, 30, 40, 80 hours a week, a lot of these systems that you see out there, they're not built for you as a mom, right? They just aren't. And that's okay. This is why automation becomes your friend. But also, more important than automation, and this might be like a little bit unpopular, but I actually think that connection is more important than automating things. I know that a lot of us want to automate this part of our business, automate that part. And when we talk systems, people jump straight to automation. But the truth is that automation is not the only way to build a system. And while, yes, I do recognize the benefits and I leverage automations to the T, I think there's also something to be said about connection, right? And really cultivating like that one-to-one conversation. And honestly, that is what leads to faster conversions, right? When you have conversations with people, that leads to faster conversions. So I've mentioned and I've shared how I use ManyChat and different automations like that. But lately, sometimes I'll tell people to comment a word and I personally DM them. And does it take some time? Yes, but guess what? If you don't have clients, you have time. If you do have clients and you want more clients, you have time. So there are certain things that we have to just make time for in business. And I really think that it's important, especially in this time period that we're living in. And I want you to hear me clearly on this. We're living in a automated age, right? We're living in a very digital age where a lot of things are being taken over by AI and just different tools to make things faster. But the personal touch is missing. And this is not bashing AI or anything, because I use those tools. I love those tools. So this is not bashing any of them. It is me saying, and maybe petitioning to you to consider, instead of looking for ways to do less, maybe we just need to figure out how to carve time to be able to do things that are going to be more impactful. And for me, that will always be cultivating community and having conversations. So while a lot of this plan, I am going to point you to some resources and tools that are going to automate things, I do want you to have in the back of your mind, like fundamentally, or maybe just like as a concept, okay, all this will be nothing if I don't have conversations with people, if I don't engage with people, if I don't build and cultivate my community, right? Community building is a big part of what I teach inside of Shmoney Mama. So I really want to just encourage you, like, girl, build the community, because when you build the community, the clients will come. I know that a lot of people are like, oh, build it and they come is a myth. It's not. Like, it's not. If you truly build something, if you truly build and cultivate a community, when the people come, when the community comes, you will see the conversions happen because you've done the legwork, and not just building a system and hoping that people convert when they run through it. I have funnels that I've built that literally have like a 15 or 20% conversion rate or higher. And it's because I have a touch point in there where I have a conversation with them, where I reach out to them personally. So I want to encourage you. Most funnels convert at 2%. Mine convert at much higher because I'm big on having conversations, building your community, having that one-to-one interaction with people, because people crave that, people need that, especially in the space that we're in right now, where things are slowly but surely, well, not slowly, but quickly transitioning into a lot of just, you're talking to computers, right? You're talking to a screen. I'm talking to you through a camera, right? We're not having like a real-time conversation, right? So with things so rapidly shifting in this area, it's going to be important that as you're thinking about signing clients in 2025 and beyond, that you really think about, okay, how can I still maintain and build connection? Now, with this, I also want to say the reality is that I think a lot of times, and even I found myself in this trap where I felt like, okay, I need all these leads, I need all these people, but you don't need 1,000 followers. You don't need 1,000 followers. You just need 100 warm leads every 90 days. If you can get 100 warm leads every 90 days, you can sign 10 clients. If you get 200, you can sign 20 clients. I did a video and I did a podcast episode on my rule of 100. And it's basically me saying out of 100 people, your goal should be to generate 100 leads, not just followers, but actual leads. If you can generate 100 leads, then you can sign 10 clients out of that. And I stand by that. It's something that I've tested multiple times with myself, but also with my clients. And so I'm actually past the idea that you need to grow your following, and I'm more into the idea of focus on generating actual leads, people that are qualified, people that are ready to buy from you. And when you do that, you will see that you're able to convert. And so when you're thinking about building out this 30-day plan to consistently sign clients, I want you to be thinking, okay, in the next 30 days, I need to be getting at least 35 new leads, a minimum of 35 new leads. And if you can do that, then you can convert 3 of them. And that's 3 clients. That's 3 new clients this month. That is freaking amazing, right? And that's something to celebrate. And if you do that month after month after month, eventually you'll find yourself booked out. Or guess what? You'll learn how to book more clients faster. So maybe instead of your monthly goal being 3 clients, now you bump it up to 6 clients, and then 9 clients, and then 12. Like, you just keep bumping it up as you continue to grow. And so I just want to encourage you in that it's not just about growing your followers or just getting emails on your email list. While those things are definitely important and will help you get to your 100 warm lead goal, really the goal is to just be like, okay, my goal is not just to get followers, but it's to get people in my community that truly need what I have to offer and that are in a position to actually purchase what I have so that I can serve them more deeply. That's the goal, right? That's the shift. So when we're thinking about your 30-day plan, we're consistently signing clients, right? I really want you to think, okay, my clients are going to come from conversations. They're going to come from connection. They're going to come from clarity. It's not going to just come from, oh, I created this funnel, that Gary Vee or someone said to set up. No shade to Gary Vee. Love Gary Vee. But it's not going to be you creating this super complicated funnel that gets people to buy, right? That's not what gets people to buy. It's people are going to buy, especially your next 10 to 20 clients. They're not going to buy randomly. I wish somebody would have told me this when I was first starting my business. And even to this day, most of my clients don't buy from me randomly. Now, in my service-based business, they do, okay? But that's different. Services are different, and we can talk about that in a different episode. But if you're a coach, a consultant, someone that most of your work is online, your clients are not going to come randomly or by accident. There's going to be a touch point somewhere where they've either engaged with you or there's going to be 1 degree of separation, meaning that they are friends with a past client, right? And so they have that personal touch point. So I wish somebody would have told me that when I first started my business, because I was under the impression, this is back in 2018-ish, and I was just thinking, okay, you just post and then people buy. But that's not how it works. Since 2018, I've been focused on cultivating and building a community because I recognized and understood that, okay, people don't just buy on accident. People don't just stumble upon your content or your work and then say, oh, let me buy this, right? Now, maybe they might buy a low ticket offer, but for most of us, we're not necessarily selling a ton of low ticket offers. Like, a lot of us are selling premium services, premium offers, premium courses, things like that. And so if that's the case, a lot of times people need a little bit more engagement, a little bit more warming up in order to buy from you. Now, if you have an offer that I would say is less than $100, then in that case, you might see And it is pretty normal to experience that people buy without getting to necessarily know you, because less than $100, the investment isn't too steep that they're thinking, girl, I don't know you well enough to give you all my money, right? But after that $100 mark, I find that it takes some relationship building, right? And so when we're thinking about your 30-day plan, I want you to recognize that all of this is contingent on your ability to have conversations. And I'm not saying that you have to respond to people immediately, but what I am saying is that you have to be open to the idea of not just hoping that people just see your content and buy. While that's an awesome feeling, and I love it when that happens, a lot of times that doesn't happen until after you've built a bit of rapport and connection and community with someone. So it's not saying that this is impossible, but I do want to just like kind of put that in your head to understand that it's not going to just be this hands-off thing. And I think that that's a disclaimer a lot more people need to make, because I think that a lot of people lie about the fact that, oh, all you need is the system and everything's going to work. Okay, this system works only if you work with the system, right? There's no such thing as like purely passive anything. In everything, you have to do some kind of input in order to get an output. I feel like that's something that just should be explained, and that's why I'm saying this upfront to you. So now that we're there, and now that we've had that conversation, we know that we're going to be having conversations with people. We understand that automations go with conversation. Let's talk about this 30-day plan. So overview, right? Big picture overview of what this looks like. For those of you that don't know, I got cussed out, okay? I got cussed out by a client literally an hour after I gave birth to my son. And after that, I built this system. Like, I built this system out of pure survival mode, because obviously I fired her as a client, like, because that really sucked. But also, I needed something that was going to work, because I was at a point that I was quitting my business, which I did actually end up quitting my business, but I came back, obviously. And so because of that, I had to build some kind of system that could allow me a little bit more flexibility, but also that could actually bring clients that I knew weren't going to treat me like complete crap if something in life came up. And recently, full transparency, I've been sick back to back to back. Like, I've just, for whatever reason, I'm just staying sick. The pollen and all that kind of, like, it's just been crazy. And so I was literally sick for about 6 weeks. And so because of that, I'm so grateful that I had created this system so long ago, because I've been able to leverage it in this season of me being just insanely sick and not able to show up. So clearly this system works. It works for me, but it also works for so many of my clients. And so I'm going to share with you like the big picture view of the system. And then if you want more details, there's 2 things you can do. If first, you can go and download the Bare Minimum Sales Blueprint, and it's a free PDF guide that you can download. And basically, it's going to walk you through step by step of what we're going to talk about here. The other thing that you can do is come join us inside Money Mama. Like, inside Money Mama, you get literally all the juicy details. I even just recorded, we do these Monday Mama CEO briefs. And so basically, I get on live for about 30 minutes and I like teach and I share just like some encouragement, some wisdom to kind of get you jump started through your week. And so I just recorded one that like walked through this process, and I pointed you to like exactly what lessons to watch in order to match up with this entire system. So I really just simplified it. So literally in the next 30 days, you can have a plan and actually know exactly how you're going to sign clients every 30 days, every 90 days. So really excited about that. Definitely go grab either one of those in the notes below. And yeah, so let's talk about the framework. So the 3 parts of this bare minimum sales system is part 1, having one offer. Okay, one offer. Then part 2, having one funnel. And then number 3 is having a weekly workflow. Okay, so this is very simple. Okay, I know that you were probably thinking like, oh my gosh, she's gonna give me like 5,000 steps. No, it's actually very, very simple. It's very sustainable and it works. And the reason why is because it's so simple, right? It's something that I think a lot of people, we used to kind of highlight this, and then things change in the online space. But I think now everyone is just craving simplicity. They're trying to go back to the basics. And honestly, we don't have time to do things that may or may not work. Like, it's like, maybe this is a good idea, but probably not. And so because of that, like, I realized several years ago that like, in order to build a truly sustainable business as a mom, it needs to be insanely simple. And so here it is. You need one offer. Now, I want to make the caveat, and I think I read it in the book, but like the caveat to this is I'm not saying that you should only have one offer forever. What I'm saying is that as you're like, in order to build out a system, your system needs to be focused on one offer. Okay, I'm gonna say that again. Your system needs to be focused on one offer, because you don't have a sales problem. You have a focus problem. Okay, the truth is that we cannot focus on multiple offers, multiple things at one time. It's very hard. I mean, and I'll say this, as moms, it's very hard because pre-baby, like pre-kids, I sold multiple offers, and it was fine. To this day, I still will sell multiple offers, but I don't sell them all at the same time. So when we're talking about the next 30 days, consistently signing clients, having a system to do it, I want you to think first, I need to set up one offer with one system. Okay, that's what I'm trying to get you to see here. It's not that you're never going to sell other offers, that you won't have multiple offers. What I am saying is that you need to have one offer, create the system for it, and then add the next offer. So you will have multiple offers at some point. You will have an offer suite. Like, I'm a huge believer in offer suites and all that kind of stuff. But I want you to start out with one, because you need to focus. You need to finish this thing to completion. I know that's my biggest downfall. I can't speak for nobody else, but my biggest downfall has always been finishing things, like getting things to completion. Like, I can start, baby. Your girl can start. Okay, I can start all the things. Finishing them is a whole different story. I have so many unfinished projects that I'm working on, quote unquote working on, because baby, I'm probably never going to finish them. But I mean, how often do you see things, like even looking around your house? Like, I'm looking around my room right now and I'm like, a lot of unfinished things happening here. We're so good at starting things, we're not as good at finishing them. And it's not necessarily our fault. We have kids now. Like, so there are things that happen. So you could start working on something and have the best intentions, and then the kids start crying and boom, mom hat is on and you're out the door, right? You're on to something else. And so because of that, I really like this. The core of this is for you to focus, right? And that's why everything is one. So one offer, right? One core offer, one thing that we're focused on selling. Okay. And we're going to let that be our focus until this is done, right? Until we have everything finished. This is what I like to call your bare minimum offer, right? Or what I like to say, like, you create your bare minimum offer. I have 2 trainings inside of Shmoney Mama. It's called Offers That Sell and the Bare Minimum Offer. And both of these help you identify what is an offer that people actually want right now, people will buy right now, and it doesn't take you a long time to deliver it. I think I did a video or episode on this as well. But anyway, that is your bare minimum offer. That is your offer that sells. And so at the end of the day, I just want you to focus on having one very clear offer, one clear problem, one clear person that you are serving, one clear result or transformation that you're getting, right? That's it. So the offer is very key, right? The offer is key, because if your offer is not what people want, or people aren't willing to buy it, or people don't want to buy it right now, then we're kind of back at the drawing board, right? And so you need to start there. You need to start with making sure this is actually a high converting offer. And I guess that's a better way to describe it. One high converting offer, because it's not just any offer. It needs to be high converting. It needs to be something that people will buy, can buy, want to buy, and that they can see the clear transformation. If not, then I mean, we probably need to workshop the offer. And I mean, that does happen, right? Like, sometimes I'll be auditing someone, because I do sales audits like very often. And so sometimes I'll audit someone's business and I'm like, this offer, it's not going to work. It's not going to work because it's not, maybe the problem is not clear. The solution might not be clear. Maybe the person it's for too many people. And so they're not going to buy. There are so many reasons why the offer might be the issue. And that's why I try to share as much as I can inside of the blueprint, the free blueprint. But really, if you want the tea, okay, if you want like all the details, you need to be inside Shmoney Mama, because I literally have 2 trainings dedicated just to how to audit your offer. And then if you share your offer with me, I'll also help you audit through it as well. Girl, today has been a recording day and my voice is like slowly but surely going down, but we're gonna get through this. Okay, so the next part of this is one funnel, right? So we have our one offer. Now it's time for us to build out our one funnel. Now, the funnel, this is going to be the trickiest part, because there are a lot of moving parts to this, right? There are several different moving parts to this, but I'm going to share like the highest level and then you can work through things from there. So the funnel is going to look like having some kind of lead magnet opt-in, go into 3 to 7 sales emails, and then your nurture content. Now, here's the key, okay? The key is that, well, there's 2 keys here actually. So the first key is the lead magnet or the opt-in key, okay? You don't have to create a PDF or a workshop or a quiz or anything. You can just have an email newsletter, okay? For probably 2 years, my lead magnet, my opt-in was a newsletter. It was called Dear Mama CEO, and it was very transparent, just honest conversations that I was having from things that I was experiencing in my life and my business. And so I was just like spilling the tea via email. It could be something that simple, okay? It could just literally be sign up for my email list because I'm going to be sharing something a little bit more in depth. It could be an email, what do you call those? Email challenges, right? Like, I'm saying this to say your lead magnet, while it is critical and important, It does not have to be something that takes you 5,000 years to set up. If you just don't have time and capacity, start a newsletter. Like, just start a weekly newsletter and point people to that newsletter and let them know, hey, here are the things that I talk about in this newsletter. So the newsletter gotta be juicy, okay? It gotta be on point, okay? It can't be just like, oh, I'm gonna give you 3 tips. Like, girl, basic, boring. So we're not doing that, but it could be very, very simple. So that's key number 1. But key number 2, and this is the important key, okay? This is our big juicy key, okay? You need to have sales emails, okay? A lot of people, oh my gosh, a lot of my clients, sometimes I have people that will share their email sequences with me for their sales audits, and the emails are welcome emails. And no shade to anybody that is like a welcome email expert, whatever, but we don't need welcome emails, okay? We don't need welcome emails. People are not buying from welcome emails. I don't know why people are doing that, but like, stop, okay? Stop today. You need to have your lead magnet, give them the lead magnet, and then from that point on, you need to be selling to them, because this is going to be the most engaged they're going to be for a while. Okay, this is going to be the most engaged someone's going to be for a good second. Like, those first 3 emails, those are going to be probably the most opened emails you ever send out. So they need to be sales emails, right? Not, here's a little bit more about my life. Here, I grew up on a farm. This, that, like, girl, nobody cares. I hate to be that person, but nobody cares. Nobody cares about that at all. Now, are those things important for connection pieces? Of course. And you can share little parts of your story and yourself throughout your emails. But I mean, you can talk about that anytime, right? I don't have in my welcome sequence that I got cussed out by a client. I just talk about that publicly. That's just a public story that I share. Okay, cool. We move on, right? I'm not going to dedicate a whole email to that in my sequence when I could use that email to sell my offer, right? So when people download a lead magnet, you have to think about it this way. When someone downloads your lead magnet, they're downloading it because you promised them a solution, right? They have a problem. Your lead magnet was the answer to that problem. So they're like, okay, cool, I'm gonna download this. Why would they go from that email to then finding out that you live on a farm? I mean, and I mean this in like the most respectful way. I'm not trying to be mean. Don't come for me if you're an email strategist or whatever. Like, please, this is just my philosophy, okay? You do what you want. But I'm telling you, the system that I want to teach you, this is all about creating and writing sales emails. So after you deliver the lead magnet, your next email needs to be talking about one point from your lead magnet and then selling, right? So, let's say your lead magnet is 3 steps to help them do something. The next email needs to be that first step and then the call to action. And by the call to action, I mean, you need to share your first step from the lead magnet, and then right after that, you can say something to the effect of, I deep dive more into this inside of my course, inside my program, or I have a whole training on this inside of this workshop, this program, whatever your paid offer is, right? Sell your paid offer though. Let's start selling. They need to get used to the fact that when they open an email from you, you're going to sell it to them. And so I say send about 3 to 7 of them. I will say a lot of my clients get very high conversions, especially from like a mid to low ticket offer. So anywhere from about $17 to on the high, I think on the high, probably like $1,000. I find my clients can get sales from the sales sequence. So you leverage this time wisely, okay, and send some sales emails. So right now, if you have a welcome sequence going out after someone gets your lead magnet, I want you to go in there, and maybe you don't have time to write new emails, but just go in there and put a call to action and sell your offer, right? You can put a PS line, like you can do something to sell your offer. I promise you will see conversions just from that one little change. And don't choose like your most in-depth crazy offer, right? That's not the offer for that. Choose an offer that like makes sense with your lead magnet but is less than $1,000. I usually don't recommend putting offers that are like more than $1,000. You wouldn't put your mastermind there unless your lead magnet or your opt-in was very specific to the mastermind. If that's the case, then okay, cool, put it there. But otherwise, be mindful. Let's be cute about it. But sell an offer, sell something. Don't just let that be a welcome sequence. And I would say anywhere from about 3 to 7 emails is like the sweet spot for that. You can do more, but that's my sweet spot. Okay, now that I went off on that tangent rant, sorry about that. But the last part of this little sales funnel, little is relative, is your nurture content. Now, I teach this thing inside Money Mama called the 12 Trust Points, and it's basically 12 pieces of content that you need to create in order for people to buy. And so these are 12, like, I like to call it pillar content pieces. So these are going to be pieces of content that you put on your blog, on YouTube, on your podcast, like things like that. It can be social media posts, and it can also be an email sequence. So there's kind of two ways that you can do it. And I teach this in Shmoney Mama, but like you can do it as a email sequence, or you can do it as a content series somewhere. And so at the end of the day, what I want you to think about with your one funnel and your one offer is that each offer needs its own nurture content sequence, right? It needs its own library of content that promotes and pushes people back to that offer. And the reason why you want that is because whenever you want to promote that offer, you can promote the content, right? You can promote the videos, and then the call to action is for people to buy the offer, right? So it's a way for your funnel to all work together, but it's also a way for, okay, let's say you have this lead magnet, and then they get the sales emails, but they're not ready to buy, right? Then you can drop them into a whole other series of 12 pieces of content that continues to nurture them about that same offer. So do you see how now you're like expanding the timeline? And remember, in the last episode, I talked about how it takes people now anywhere from 9 to 18 months to buy. This is getting people to trust you. This is building that relationship so that people can buy from you. So this is what is going to like nurture people. Like as they continue to go through more content with you, they're going to buy. This also, fun fact, allows you to not have to create as much content, because once you create like your, what I like to call nurture content or your library of content, once that is created, so you go inside Money Mama, you do the 12 trust points content. Once that's created, you can take, like I literally just did, 6 weeks off and not post a single thing, but keep resharing your old content to your community, and then they will buy because they will find their way inside your funnel, and the funnel will just sell itself. This is why instead of it being a welcome sequence, it needs to be a sales sequence, because when people drop into your funnel, right, they come from the lead magnet, they come from your nurture content. When they drop into the funnel, they're not getting generic, oh, I grew up on a farm, you know, I was born in this day and I have 5,000 kids, right? I don't have 5,000 kids. I have 2 kids. Oh my gosh, why did I say 5? Girl, you know I be rambling. But so instead of like them getting random emails like that, they're getting sales emails, and because they've already been nurtured through content that's designed to convert, right? We're going back to that last episode. We're coming here, right? They have content that is designed to convert. Now they're going to buy, right? They're going to buy, and it might take them, you know, now we're taking the buyer cycle from 9 months to maybe 3 months, right? So now you're able to generate sales every 90 days, right? Remember, that's the goal. Like my goal is always to help you generate 100 leads, right? Quality leads, and sign 10 clients every 90 days. So now we are shortening your buyer cycle, okay? A win is a win. And we're shortening it without you having to create more content all the time, right? Now, will you create content? Of course, right? You'll be on Pinterest, you'll be on Instagram, you'll be on all these different, like you're going to create content, but it's not going to be at the volume or cadence that everybody else is creating content. You're not going to have to be like that weekly content creator if you don't want to be, right? If you want to, cool. Like I love that, right? And I am that girly, but you're not going to have to do that with this system. Okay. So that is your funnel. And remember, one offer to one funnel. So you're going to do this for every offer you have. And this is the part that takes some time, right? But that's why we are going to move into my last step, which is your weekly workflow. So this is going to kind of break down your next, like your 5-hour weeks. So this is going to take some time. It's probably going to take you the entire month to set up for one offer, only because if you're only doing 5 hours, you're going to need time to get everything set up and created, right? So I don't want to delude you into thinking like, oh, this is only going to take you 5 hours. Absolutely not. Like it's going to take some time, but that's why we're carving out 30 days to get this done, to get it set up, and then you can move on from there. So 5 hours, it's going to look like 90 minutes for content creation. So you're going to take 90 minutes, and you might need, this is where you're going to need a little bit more work, because if you don't, like if you're not inside Money Mama, you're not going to have all the templates. Inside Money Mama, I give you the templates on like exactly what to say, what to do, etc., etc. So if you're doing this from scratch, like it's going to take you a little bit more time to plan it all out. So you're going to take 90 minutes, maybe 2 hours for content creation. Then after that, you're going to have about 90 minutes also for follow-up. So remember what I said at the beginning about conversations being a key part of this. Once you have your system set up, now all you have to focus on is having conversations with people. So what I mean by this is like I spend a great amount of time every week following up with people. And by following up, I mean people that have downloaded my lead magnet. I'm reaching out to them. People that have DM'd me, I'm reaching out to them. People that I've had conversations with about working together and they haven't purchased yet, I'm DMing them, right? I'm following up because conversations are key. People forget, right? My clients are moms. So we are busy. It's not that they don't want to work with me. It's that life happened, right? Their kid fell off the bed, right? Maybe they went and had a baby or something. Like, so many things could happen in between them messaging me back and not. And so because of that, I spend a great amount of time every week just focused on having conversations and following up with them, which kind of leads me to my next point of now you're going to spend 1 hour on warm outreach. And warm outreach literally means people that have been engaging with your content, engage back with theirs. People that are DMing you, replying to your polls and stuff, reply to them, like reply back to them. It's so amazing to me. Like sometimes, like I used to do social media management and I used to do a service where I would like actually do the outreach for people. And it was so surprising to me how many people would not respond to their DMs. They would not respond to like their message requests. Girl, I check my message request almost every single day because I know that people sometimes end up there and I want to talk to you. Like I want to talk, if you want to talk to me, I want to talk to you. Okay, point blank period. Because I know that the more people I talk to, the more money I'm going to make because I'm going to be able to serve more people. Like it's just that simple. The last hour of this 5-hour stretch is going to be an hour for CEO time, a CEO check-in. And so basically you're just checking the result of all your effort, right? So you're checking like, okay, how's my content going? Am I getting it out? How's my follow-up? How's my conversations? Like how are those things going? You're following up on all those things, like you're checking in to see what's working well. And then also, if you're not in Touch Money Mama, you can use that time to help you prepare for more content creation. Now, I want to be very clear about content creation. I'm not telling you that you have to create like daily posts on Instagram, although I do that, right? So I don't want you to be like, oh, but you do that. Yes, I do that because I want to, okay? You can also scroll through my feed and see that sometimes I take 2 months off, right? And I don't even think about it. Like I take 2 months off and it's just like whatever. For my photography business, I have a whole photography business. Probably now I post maybe 3 days a week, but for the longest time, I mean, I think there was like 2 years straight where I didn't post anything and I still had consistent clients because the system was set up. The system was set up. I was blogging. I had a blog and I was just driving traffic to my blog through Pinterest and boom, I was getting clients. And Google was helping me too. So I'm saying this to say this sales, like this 30-day plan, it works for any business type. If you're a service provider, if you're a coach, I don't care what it is that you're doing, this 9 times out of 10 is going to be the perfect thing for you. And it's going to be great because now you know in your 5 hours of time, this is all I need to do. Now, if you don't have a ton of content, like if you don't have a podcast or a blog or something already set up, what I want to encourage you to do is consider focusing on 3 hours a week geared just towards content creation, and then don't do the follow-up. And the reason why I'm saying don't do the follow-up is because you probably don't have anybody to follow up with, so it doesn't make sense to block off time to follow up if you're not actually following up with people. So instead, I want you to focus on the content. I want you to focus on warm outreach because I know even if you don't have people to follow up with, you do have people that are engaging with your content, people who are like in your DMs, replying to your stories, whatever. You do have that, and so I want you to focus on building that connection and relationship with them while you're creating the content. And then take an hour every week. Like I said, that last hour will be your CEO check-in time. And that's when you will check to see, okay, what progress have I made on my content? Has my content gotten out there? How am I getting my content out there? Et cetera, right? So that's what you'll do there. At the end of the day, you don't need a hustle. You need a rhythm, right? You need a rhythm, and you need a rhythm that works for you no matter what season of life you're in. And I'm saying this as someone who has literally just gotten off of being sick for 6 weeks straight. Like I've literally been sick for 6 weeks, and you can check my time cards. I share my time cards on Instagram all the time, but like I had weeks where I was working 3 hours, and then I had weeks that I was working maybe 10 hours because I was literally too sick to get up and work. I think during that time, like literally I was doing the bare minimum, and that's why I've set this up, because sometimes you need that bare minimum strategy to rely on when you are not doing well, when your family is not doing well, when you have other obligations that are just taking up a little bit more time. And so that's why I'm sharing the system with you. And I want you to understand that all this can be done for one offer. Like you can do your one offer, your one funnel, your one workflow for 30 days. And by next month, you will start to see the clients come in because they would have started going through your sales system. And the goal is, after you have the system set up, now all you have to do is drive traffic to it. Like just drive traffic to it. I teach all that inside Money Mamas. I just want to wrap this up by saying that God called you to the business that you have. You are called to do the work that you do. You're called to serve the clients that you're called to serve, but you're not called to be burned out, right? You're not called to every waking moment you're working on your business. That's not what you're called to do, right? Like that's not why you're doing this. You like, your first ministry is always going to be your home. It's always going to be your family, right? That's going to be the priority. So you want to make sure that you're building your business around that priority and around that very, very important mission. And I want to encourage you in knowing that you can absolutely do that without losing your mind, without sacrificing everything that's important to you. And I really want you to just hear me and hear my heart when I'm saying this, because like I said, I've literally come off of being sick for multiple weeks. I'm still like kind of like, I can tell by the way that I'm talking on these episodes that I'm recording right now, I can tell that like I'm still a bit winded, like I'm still a bit tired, even though I'm feeling better, right? And so I'm just like, I know that this works because I'm literally coming through this season, and I have clients that are working through this exact same season as well. So I want you to know, like, it's possible to build a business without sacrificing what's most important to you. So I just want you to know your business, it should be a place of peace, right? You should feel peaceful with your business. It should be something that's peaceful and profitable. You know, that's my thing, peace and profit, peace and profit. If it's not bringing you those two things, then let's take a step back and adjust, right? And that's what this 30-day plan is going to allow you to do. So if you want to have it as a PDF document, definitely make sure that you go in the show notes and download. It's called the Bare Minimum Sales Blueprint, and it's multiple pages, like it's a lot of pages, but it walks you kind of step by step through what we've been talking about today. And if you want like the details, like how to actually implement this, then come join us inside Shmoney Mama. It's my signature course, and it will help you like literally step by step get through this, and you'll be able to ask the community and myself all the questions to help you kind of walk through this. And if you want, you can also grab a sales audit, but that's a whole other conversation. So that's it for this one. Until next time, I will talk to you later, darling. Mama is getting tired. We're gonna take a break because I'm tired.